Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. Welcome to the programme. It is Wednesday, and in the studio with me we have Alan Rough, Tam McManus and Barry Ferguson. And of course, hot on the heels of talking about coronavirus, we're now speculating about possibly when games will be played. Yeah, day by day, it's an ever-changing landscape in football and sport across the globe. And day by day, hour by hour, there's major tournaments cancelled. Now we in Scotland are looking and wondering when we'll ever get back to football being played. There was the suggestion, of course, about the league being played behind closed doors. That seems to be off the table for the moment. What about getting the league finished? Well, here's what the SFA Chief Executive Ian Maxwell had to say.
We will be guided. Obviously we suspended football in the country for the immediate future. We want to get football back on everybody's minds as soon as we possibly can. We need to take advice from the medical experts in that area. This isn't something that affects just football. This is something that is affecting the world. It's affecting every reach of society, and it's something that everybody will want to see us get out the other end of. We'll be guided by UEFA, the joint response group that we've established. Will continue to meet on a daily basis, and we'll just take advice from them and work through things as they come.
Everybody's speculating on when we're going to get these games played. Certainly the hope is before June 30th. I can't see it. Can you, Barry?
Yeah, I'm with you, Peter. This virus is not at its peak yet. They're talking that it's going to be another 8 to 12 weeks. So I can't see our football getting back to it. It's what everybody would love to see. Leagues getting finished, people knowing who's going to be crowned champions, people who are going to get relegated and promotion and so on. But for me, I very much doubt the league's going to happen.
Yeah, and of course there's a small matter of the Scottish Cup.
And then attention turns to the Scottish Cup as well, which would have been coming up soon with the postponements there as well. When will the fixtures be played, likely, Ian?
It's difficult to say, and obviously they're scheduled for just a little over a month's time. That's obviously going to be impossible to play football in that time period, but it's a flagship event for the Scottish FA. It means a lot to clubs, it means a lot to players, it means a lot to supporters to watch their team lift the Scottish Cup, and we want to give every supporter that can the chance to come and watch those games be played. So we'll look to reschedule those games as soon as possible.
Well, the Scottish Cup's one of those situations where you could play two semi-finals and the final in quick succession. Wouldn't be ideal, but you could do it, and that leads me to believe that they could still make that the fanfare and, possibly the opening to a new league season, Tam.
Yeah, it could be. I think whenever the league starts back, listen, we're all speculating. It could be June, July, August, September. Nobody knows. But once we do get round to the next season, I agree with you. I think we should go and play the semi-finals within a week in the final. And then you kick-start the following season. But where do you fit this season into that? It's just a minefield of fixtures, and it just depends when we get the all clear to start back again, because everybody's just speculating. But I do agree that would be a good start to the 2021-22 season.
Yeah, and of course it's going to be Euro 21. We now know that for certain. As far as the playoff for Scotland, it's now going to be moved back to the summer. Will we get it played in June? Unlikely, according to Ian Maxwell.
I think it's difficult to envisage a situation where the current situation clears up in time for us to play games in June. Obviously there are a number of countries involved in the playoff. The virus is at various stages across the world, and there may be some countries that see themselves coming out of that situation a little bit quicker than others. We will take advice obviously from the medical teams, and we will liaise with UEFA. Whether we can get the game played in June, it will be up for debate. We would love to think so, but it's probably unlikely at this point.
And there's obviously the question about Scotland supporters and tickets. Will tickets remain valid for this?
Absolutely, as with any postponement, tickets will remain valid for the rescheduled date. You know, we were delighted with the ticket sales, we were delighted that the supporters all wanted to come and watch the playoff match, and I'm sure there are a lot of disappointed Scotland fans that they can't get along to see the game when it was scheduled for, and we'll try and get it on as quickly as we can.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, Roughie, even if they don't get it in the summer, at least now you've got that full year where you know you can get a couple of playoffs played. Scotland, Israel, the winner of that against Norway, Serbia.
Yes, you're right, you know, and from our personal point of view, that might be good for us. We've got a lot of very, very good young players who wouldn't be fit for this Israel game, so we might be in a better state when that comes along. But I thought the statement for UEFA yesterday was just all about them. They want their European Cup finished, and by hook or by crook they're going to get it played, and their Europa as well. They want the big clubs, you know, to benefit out of this, and that's who they're looking after.
Yeah, well, with all due respect, I think we're in a situation where there needs to be an element of cooperation. You know, everybody's got their own self-interest. Everyone is looking after themselves on this situation. Even if it's a big group like UEFA, the SPFL obviously have to take care of themselves, the SFA. So that meeting was all about 55 member countries, Barry, trying to get together and communicate with each other and give each other a bit of leeway along the way to say, yeah, we want our tournament, and the others to say, yeah, we want our leagues resolved.
Yeah, look, every association wants their domestic fixtures sorted, but it's the same, Peter. Different countries have got this virus at different stages. I mean, we're in the early stages, so it's looking to us, as I mentioned earlier before in the programme, we're 8 or 12 weeks away from it hitting its peak. In other countries, it might be hitting its peak. So, look, I'm like everybody. I just want our domestic game finished. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. Which then brings us on to another debate.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, Barry. Calm your jets. Tam, Roughie's having null and void as his main opinion over the last couple of days. What about you? How would you resolve it?
Oh, listen, I don't want anything to be null and void. You know, I would prefer this season to be played out at some point, but are we going to get to a stage where it's August, September, you know, and nothing's happened, nothing's resolved? You've got the following season to fit in. You've got cup competitions, you've got playoffs. You know, I don't want anything null and void, but if it came down to it and there was a straight option between null and void and standings where they are, you know, the team at the top wins, the team at the bottom goes down, then I would go the second route. I would go the team at the top wins the league, team at the top bottom goes down. No preference for any club whatsoever. I just think that's a better option than playing 30 games for a season. You know, people knocking their pan in. Some of the clubs are well clear. Some of the clubs are adrift at the bottom, let's be honest. To knock your pan in for 30 games and then just to be said, listen, that's null and void, it doesn't count. Then you've got fans maybe wanting refunds on tickets and season tickets. It just opens up a whole can of worms. So for me, I would go league standings as they are, if that's a decision between that and null and void.
Yeah, and the other aspect of this, Barry, which we argued vehemently on Monday and Sunday, Anne Budge has mentioned the fact that Hearts at the moment, you know, will lose somewhere in the region of a revenue of £1 million. She wants league reconstruction back on the table. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I've been saying it now for a couple of years, Peter. I think it will benefit our game as a whole, and I think it will keep the vast majority happy. There'll be one or two clubs that won't be happy, but it's going to happen. Whatever solution they come up with, Peter, there's going to be unhappy people and there's going to be happy people. But for me, for the benefit of the game, I think reconstruction is the way forward, because it's going to happen in a year or two anyway. So I think they can fast track it, bring it forward and make it happen.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, Roughie. You obviously don't see them doing anything quickly. But maybe the desperate situation that we find ourselves in, we're waiting on Neil Doncaster and the SPFL board to look over the government's white paper to see initially what financial bailouts or help that clubs who are teetering on the brink and clubs that will be teetering on the brink in the next 4 to 5 weeks are going to get.
Well, it's encouraging that they are going to pay out the April payment. I don't know how they're going to do that based on where a lot of the clubs are sitting, but I think that somebody will have to come with some idea of how they're going to do it, and that will be a breath of fresh air to a lot of clubs, because they're really struggling. The handouts down through the leagues has been discussed, are not parable with the clubs at the top and the clubs at the bottom. So maybe that's another thing we should look at, that the big clubs are getting far too much and the little clubs aren't getting enough.
Yep, okay. Oh God, you really are pushing the boat out for your own self-interest now. You know, 8 years, not a peep. Now, suddenly the big flag waver for Partick Thistle. Dundee United, Mal Brannigan has come out with a statement regarding their predicament as well. And again, it just boils down to whatever predicament you're in, where you are, top or bottom. And the managing director has said, my opinion would be that we would like to see the season through. We are top, and we have been since day one. We are 14 points clear, and we are there on merit. We would like to see the season through, and if we are still there by the end, we deserve to be promoted. It's more important to us as an organisation to have that delivered because of what we've achieved rather than by default. Null and void, I can't see that happening. If the current positions were allowed to stand, I wouldn't like that either. If the season has to be played out behind closed doors, if that is the only option for us to win the championship on merit, then I would like to see that. And that is Mal talking from a good position of Dundee United being at the top of the league.
Yeah, they're 14 points clear, but the point he's made at the end, I think we'd all want to see the football, even if it was behind closed doors, Peter, but that's not going to happen. Fraser Wishart has come out, the PFA chairman, and stated that he doesn't want the players doing that, and the players wouldn't be comfy doing that. So, again, it's up for debate what's going to happen. It's a minefield now, but the SPFL and the SFL need to come to a decision quick, I think, the next couple of weeks, Peter, because as you say, there's clubs that are going to struggle financially over the next couple of weeks. They rely on gate money coming through and people going and buying a pie and a Bovril or whatever, and their social clubs, so we need to get a decision quickly.
Yeah, and the other aspect of this is we're in a situation where, although rules are in place, some people will obviously come up with alternate propositions, Tam. And the reason I mention this is because I don't think there's a rule in place for coronavirus that wipes out, the entire English Premier League and EFL seasons. And they're now looking at a plan to try and get 92 games played behind closed doors at neutral venues. Obviously, these games will be live on TV. That's the plan down south, to try and somehow get a resolution to this.
Yep. Listen, I'm not a scientist. How do all the players get tested before the games? How quick do you get a result if you're tested? So say you've got your 2 squads of 18 or whatever, your referees, your linesmen, they all get tested immediately before the game. Can you get a test back saying they're negative? You can all go out and play the game. What if one person or one player or official has got the coronavirus? Yeah. I can't see it happening, Peter.
Yeah.
Can't see the closed door thing happening. I'd love to see it happen.
I'll accept that. I think it's a valid point, but I think if certain players don't declare themselves fit and clear of it, it would be like someone who's pulled a hamstring, Roughie. They're not fit. They're not fit to play. They're isolated. Then they're out. It's the same predicament you would have from someone who gets a broken leg, pulls a hamstring, suddenly is out with.
Then you're relying everybody being 100%, honest with everybody else. When you're talking about large sums of money, people getting 100,000 quid a week, whatever, you're expecting them to be honest to say, right, I'm okay.
Well, they'll be tested. It doesn't matter if they say they're okay, they're going to be tested.
Yeah, we're not just talking about the players, we're talking about other people in the stadium.
Yeah.
Other people, not going to just be closed doors. Doesn't mean there's nobody in that stadium. There's going to be a lot of people allowed in the stadium who won't have been tested.
Well, let me play devil's advocate. Maybe they've all to be tested as well, Barry.
If it's going to happen that way down in England, I would imagine they'd be crazy if they wouldn't test everybody.
Stringent testing.
Yeah, I'm not talking just players, the ambulance services that will come and sit at the side, the coaching staff.
Barry, why did our union not come out with that then? Our union have just said no, it's not happening.
Yeah, well, listen,
they've got more power down the road, I think.
No, but maybe the union, I tell you, there's a lot more financially at stake.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. But maybe the union up here, for once, is smarter. Maybe they're looking at it and saying to themselves, listen, we're going to have to be realistic based on the advice we're getting, whereas down there may be a driving force to say, listen, there's billions at stake here. So suddenly you start to push forward plans that might not have a catch chance in hell of getting anywhere come June.
See, for the Championship, it's a £170, £180 million game.
Yeah,
to get in.
It's a huge amount of money.
I mean, through the playoff.
Yeah.
So we're talking crazy amounts of money here. But I'm with you. I think Fraser's come out and said the right thing. He's looking after his players.
Yeah.
Which hasn't always been the case, by the way.
Yep, I know.
Fair play to them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think at this point we are in difficult times, and everybody has to take care of themselves first and foremost, but of course close family members as well. It's a difficult one, and it's going to take twists and turns every day we're on this programme. Thank you very much to each and every one of you for joining us and offering your opinion as well. We really do appreciate that. I suppose when you get to a situation like this, some people look at it selfishly. Look at Neil Lennon. He's looked at Lee Griffiths. He's got himself back fit. He's fighting fit, looking good. What a terrible time for the season to stop for Lee Griffiths.
It is, it's for several players, but I think Lee's been, he's obviously had a long spell out with problems mentally. And fitness-wise, he's not been fit either, but he's come back and he's been flying. He's been right back to his best. He looks fit, he looks sharp, he's been banging the goals in, which has been great for not only Celtic fans, but for Scotland fans as well. And we're looking forward to the playoffs, him leading the line, and then obviously now he's back in cold storage again. So it's a disappointment for him and for Neil Lennon, but I'm sure he'll be working away in the background to keep his fitness levels up, and he'll be back whenever we're back.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the time they get the playoff played, he could have a beard and moustache as well. Stranger things have happened with his hair. As far as some of the players, we've got him on as well. His hairstyle could change dramatically. As well as that, one of your old gaffers. I mean, if they don't fight or don't get a game, he's out of contract for the season. 72, Dick Advocat could be saying farewell to football after a really colourful, illustrious and successful career.
Yep, I read that. 72, he's had some great jobs, and over the last 10 years when I've seen him leaving the club, I'm thinking, right, that's him, he's going to put his feet up and relax, and he gets into another job. But listen, I loved working with him. I thought he was fantastic. Great coach, learned so much off him. And football's his life, Peter. I wouldn't put it past him to keep going on next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Roughie, I'm just going to read you a team out. This is from 1987. Thompson, Neri and Holt, Hegarty, Clark, Malpass, Redford, McInally, Sturrock, Gallagher and Ferguson. Now, that's not a bad lineup. Now, they defeated Barcelona by 1-0, and this very day, in 1987, they defeated Barcelona in the Nou Camp by 2-1. And they had guys like Zubi Zareta, Lineker, Hughes and Terry Venables as the manager.
Yeah, and I think everybody remembers the John Clark goal for that game, and nobody really talks a lot about Ian Ferguson's, but I was at the Dundee United reunion. They were all there, every one of them, a man.
Was that a dinner, Roughie?
Yes, it was a dinner,
what was that like?
It was fantastic.
Were you speaking at it? Or
I just got up and said a few words.
Yeah.
But they were all there, apart from one person, which... there was one player not there, but we'll not go into that.
Yeah, one player.
Yeah, well, of that
team. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I might as well tell you. I mean, listen, one of the great players of that team, is now my friend on Facebook, which made me so happy.
Who's that?
Yeah. Paul Sturrock.
Oh, he was a good player.
What a fantastic player he was.
What was his nickname? Luggy.
But what a great player he was. I mean, as a boy, I just absolutely thought he was sensational, Tam. I don't know if you're a wee boy, you look at players and you think, I was quite lucky, and you even luckier than me, Roughie, but when you were a boy and you could see great players playing for Aberdeen and Dundee United and Celtic and Rangers, and you actually become friends with them. To actually sit next to Derek Johnson for 8 years, and Derek Johnson was a phenomenal player, but to try and tell people that, Roughie was a great goalkeeper, try and tell people that, they think he's just a pundit.
See, to be fair, it's like me with Barry. I grew up watching Barry, and I thought he was a tremendous player. Now, I'd like to think, well, he maybe not think he's my mate, but I'm his mate.
That's not bad. That's a good one.
That is brilliant. I could just see the baseball bat being taken out and scalping him out into left field.
Paul Sturrock was that good that he got a game in a World Cup final with Scotland before Charlie Nicholas.
Yeah, I mean, he was, well, listen, they can have a debate. Don't start the debate, Roughie, over who's better, Sturrock or Nicholas. But for me, I just thought he was a great player, you know, and sometimes you're lucky enough to actually meet people along the way that you become friendly with.
Who was the midfielders in that team?
Well, you had Ian Redford. Brilliant
He played
player
at Rangers.
He was a great player. Sadly, no longer with us. Jim McInally. Brilliant player, Jim McInally. And then you had possibly, I think, Ferguson would have played in the middle of the park, Roughie, Gallagher and Sturrock up front. Is that fair?
Well, forward players,
yeah.
It doesn't matter where you play them, they're going to be attacking at some stage.
Yeah, absolutely. What a team. 2-1. You know, probably at the end of it, when they get back on the plane, probably get fined by the manager for some misdemeanour.
They certainly wouldn't have had a drink on the way home.
No, absolutely.
Or get made sign a 10-year contract.
Yeah. What a team they were. Dundee United, great days when we had two teams, Aberdeen and Dundee United, absolutely causing havoc across Europe, taking some great scalps. Listen, stay safe. Of course, we say that every day. Hopefully you're enjoying the content that we're putting out on PLZ Soccer. Don't forget, this is the last day, last chance. Try and win yourself a Peugeot 3008. Get onto our Facebook page, PLZ Soccer. It's pinned to the top, gives you all the directions on how to win the car, courtesy of our sponsors, Arnold, Clark. Other than that, you've still got time to watch the podcast on PLZ Soccer with Tommy Sheridan. We've got a new guest coming in this week to share a few memories with us. You can contact us at PLZ Soccer. Facebook Lives on Monday to Friday. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow with you. Tam Cowan will be here in the studio with myself and Roughie. So from Roughie, from Tam McManus and Barry Ferguson, and myself, Peter Martin, thank you very much for watching the programme.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.